Hi everyone! Today, sadly, I'm opening my very last Artsnacks box. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, let's see what's in the March box. It's usually their anniversary month, so they add a little extra or something fun. So let's see what it is. We'll start with the surface. The Fabriano 1264 mixed media paper. It's 110 pounds and it has 60 sheets. Wow. And it has perforated paper so you can remove the sheets. Then there is a fun looking pencil sharpener. Oh my gosh, I think it's like a multi sharpener. This looks like it's for mechanical pencils. Ooh, gotta try that. It's a Kum, my favorite brand for sharpeners. It's German and the blade is really nice. Some permanent markers. Oh, so I'm guessing they're like Sharpies. So it's a box of 12. And it looks like there's 2 tips. Ah! Okie dokie then. Yeah. Look, it's probably like a Sharpie marker. And you have a bullet nib. And a fine liner. That's really cool. And it doesn't smell as strong as a Sharpie. Alright, so are these what's in the Artsnacks Plus box? Yeah. The paper. There's another one. The paper and the Marabu markers. That's what's in the Artsnacks Plus box. And then what's in the actual box is the sharpener, some Smarties, a cute little sticker, a Plumchester paint marker. These were sent already, pretty sure, unless it's a different tip. I think it's the same nib as the previous one. I have to double check. But it's in, oh, it's reversible. You get a chisel and a bullet nib. Nice. And this one is in blue. We've got a chameleon double-sided pencil. We've got a Blackwing Artsnacks edition, which is really cool. Blackwings are really nice pencils. I have a few already. And what is this? It's a Kuretake. Let's see. Holy cow! It's a brush pen. A very, very, very fine one, and it looks like it's probably real brush too. Let's see. Yeah, real bristles. Oh my gosh, that's really cool. It's very cute. So that's all we've got this month. Let's swatch everything and see what I can do with them. This Kum sharpener is indeed what I thought it was. There's no surprise there. Like I said, I really like Kum sharpeners. I have a lot of them. And the tiny little sharpener is not for mechanical pencils, like I said earlier. It's for leads, which is what I meant. It's the leads that you use in lead holders, like the one I'm showing in the video. The Blackwing pencil is really nice. It's very soft. It's very black. The Chameleon pencil, I'm not super fond of it, and I'm not very fond of Chameleon products in general. I'm not saying they're bad. They're really not the kind of things that I like. I think they're really great for coloring. I don't see the point personally for fine art. If you run out of one color, you know, you have a double-ended pencil. If you use one color more than the other, then what, you need to buy another double-ended pencil. Yeah, that's not my favorite. Plus they're not super soft. I'm not saying they're bad, they're just not for me. Now the fine liner is so thin, it's really nice, and it's surprisingly easy to use, and it's very juicy. As far as the Plumchester paint marker is concerned, it must be the paint marker the easiest to prime. I've never primed a marker that fast. I basically only had to shake it and the ink came out, which could be a concern because it seems super juicy too, and I hope it won't leak. And the Marabu permanent markers, they're great. There's a nice variety of colors. I'm super pleased with them. I've always been happy with Marabu products, except for one. Those water-soluble crayons, I still do not like those. But other than that, every single product from Marabu that we've had in the Artsnacks boxes, I've loved. So I was not super inspired to start with, but I really liked the artwork on the permanent marker box. It's all that cross-hatching work that I'm so bad at. I really admire it, and it kind of looks messy, but on purpose, and it looks really good. So to try to get inspired, I just tried to do a little doodle the same way. I did a terrible job with the proportions, but it's okay. The point was to doodle and play with the markers. So once I was done with that, I finally got inspired, and I thought the markers were so bright and colorful, I thought they would be a great fit for a manga or an anime character. And what came to mind, because I watched the latest movie not too long ago, was Lupin the Third. I don't know if any of you are familiar. If you're a Ghibli fan, you might know the Castle of Cagliostro. But basically, he's the grandson of a French gentleman thief, and he just gets in trouble, and he's just kind of a thief as well, and he travels around trying to have a good time. He's got a couple of buddies with him in his gang, and they travel in that tiny little yellow Fiat. So I did some fan art of Lupin the Third and one of his buddies with the car, and of course I used the Blackwing pencil for the sketch. And you know, as much as I like those pencils, I don't think they're made to sketch. I think they're great to doodle, but they're too dark for sketching because it's very hard to erase them. And it's hard to make very light lines with them too. I had a really good time using the Kuretake liner. It's surprisingly easier than I thought. I made a few mistakes here and there, but I was able to cover them up for most of them. But yeah, it's really nice and juicy, and I really like it. Now, when I was done lining my drawing, I used a hairdryer just in case to make sure the ink was totally dry before I erased all my lines. Because the pencil is so dark, I really smudged a lot of it. So I had a lot of graphite on my pinky finger, and I smudged it all over the page, so I really had to clean it up. But when I started using that yellow marker, I did smudge some of the lines, which is surprising because they didn't smudge with the eraser. That said, it could very well be the paper, because with some papers, inks don't dry as fast. But eventually, I think the ink was all dry because I didn't have any more trouble later on. So it was a lot of fun coloring everything with the permanent markers. Eventually, I ended up not having the colors I needed. I needed a lot of black for the suit and the hat and the tires, but I didn't want the black, so I used the fine liner with a water brush to have a lighter black, or more like a dark gray, and it worked very well. I also used a combination of the markers with the water brush as well to get a skin tone for those two guys. The paper took everything very nicely. Of course, the permanent markers bled through it, but that's to be expected. They didn't bleed to the next page, but they bled through the one I was using. Not that much, actually. Eventually, I realized that I did not use the paint marker, so I used it for the sky. And I again put the pigment on the palette and I used it with a brush, a little bit diluted with water. And in the end, I realized that I had never used that purple pencil, so I used it for my signature. Alright, now, I told you at the beginning of this video that this was my very last Artsnacks box. I've been subscribed for almost 6 years, and this is the very first art box that I subscribed to. I did subscribe to a few other art boxes since, and I canceled all the subscriptions. I always found that the Artsnacks box was the best. The reason is, I feel that some are too expensive and the value isn't right for me. I think it's too expensive, there's not enough stuff in it. And the value of the Artsnacks box has always been pretty good so far. And also a lot of other art boxes have student quality supplies. It's never happened with Artsnacks, or very rarely if it did. There's often exclusive items that just came out that aren't available in stores yet. And overall, the supplies have mostly been artist quality, which I really appreciate. A lot of people wonder why people subscribe to art supplies boxes, and my main reason was to try new supplies. The main thing that I hear is, why don't you just use the money to buy the supplies you want? Well, there's a lot of supplies that I don't know about, that I can't buy, that I don't know if I will like. So being sent a box of supplies that I might not have heard of, or I might not look at an art store because I'm not interested, really pushed me to try new things. And about 6 years ago, when I started with Artsnacks, I was definitely not a mixed media artist. So the challenges were terrifying, using all the supplies that came in the box. There were all different kinds of supplies. I remember my very first box, I had no idea what to do. I was excited about the supplies, but I was terrified at the thought of using them together. So I ended up watching some Artsnacks videos on YouTube to get some ideas. And then I had a lot of fun doing my challenge, so I was very excited to receive the next box, and the next one, and the next one. And I get more and more confident putting all those supplies together to create something. I found creative ways to use the supplies, like using permanent markers and just putting the pigments on the palette and watering it down with a brush and water to use it like watercolor. It made me enjoy all those mediums more and more. So yeah, there are some mediums that I like more than others, but I've found out about a lot of other mediums that I was not familiar with, and I really enjoy using them now. So those 6 years have been a wonderful creative journey, and I'm very thankful that I tried it. So it's kind of bittersweet to stop the subscription now, but I kind of feel like I already have so many liners and pencils, and I've tried so many new things on my own, besides Artsnacks as well, that I'm good for now, and I don't think I need any more. So I'm sadly saying goodbye to Artsnacks, and thanking all the people at Artsnacks for putting all those fun boxes together every month. I know I've grown as an artist tremendously since I started my subscription, and I couldn't be happier. So that's it for today. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you soon with another video. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye bye.